NFL Power Rankings, we are back and we're doing it. We're going to combine our old style of doing it this week. We're going to go through my Power Rankings, and then we're going to immediately react to Colin Cowherd's herd hierarchy. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is last week's rankings. As you can see right here, a very volatile week. I was talking about it last week. A lot of teams that you wouldn't expect to be on here are on here, like the Giants and the Jets. And then this week, we have a big shift as well. Let's go ahead and take a little look, shall we? You'll notice some big changers here. So the biggest change is that the Bengals went from 8 to 4. All right. Now here's the deal. This was before the Jamar Chase injury. So as you know, I do these every Tuesday. This is before the Jamar Chase injury. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, it really impacts the Bengals too much. What I will say is, since I do these on a weekly basis, I would not have moved them up that high if Jamar Chase would have already been injured. I probably would have had the Ravens a little higher. It would have changed some things. Let me explain. The top three don't change at all, as you can see here. Let me explain the Bengals. The Bengals look like a team who have figured it out. The Bengals look like a team who know who they are now. They're throwing the ball more. They're trusting Joe Burrow and the weapons more. They've kind of got away from Joe Mixon. And since they already have that Super Bowl pedigree, it's a team that I know is good. That's why I have them so high. And that their defense is playing so good. So their defense and their offensive line were their two biggest question marks coming out of their Super Bowl season, or the Super Bowl runner-up season. And they've shored those up big time. And Joe Burrow, look, here's the deal. Joe Burrow is a generational quarterback. If he's playing at the level he's playing at right now for an extended period of time, they have to be an elite team. Same with like Tom Brady in the past. When Tom Brady is playing at an MVP level, the Patriots of old or the Buccaneers the year they won the Super Bowl, hard to beat them. The Chiefs, when Patrick Mahomes is playing at an elite MVP level, they're almost unstoppable. Well, guess what? Right now, Joe Burrow is playing at an almost elite, or he is playing at an elite MVP level. So the Bengals are 4. Vikings are held up by their record. You're going to see a lot of people like that. The Giants, the Jets, the Titans, where the NFL is so bad that it's hard for me to ignore records right now. It's hard for me. I think, looking down here, I think the 49ers are probably in the top 6. But I can't put the 49ers in there when they just got smoked by the Chiefs to go to 3-4. They're playing the Rams this week. If they beat the Rams and go to 4-4, I may be able to put them in there. But I can't throw them in there. So teams are kind of hamstringing me here, like the Packers, and the Packers are terrible. The Packers are 3-4. They just dropped a game to the Commanders, so I can't put them in there, right? The Cardinals will win big at home to go to 3-4. I can't put them in there, right? So the Vikings are being propped up. They're leading their division. They have playmakers. Look at this dog wilding out with his tongue, Jesus. But I don't think that Kirk Cousins is a playoff quarterback. I don't think he's a quarterback who can take you to the top of the mountain. But that's not what this power ranking is for. And as of right now, they're number 5. The Giants, look, the Giants are winning games. The Giants are playing good. Brian Daboll is probably your coach of the year right now. Daniel Jones, the biggest issue with the Giants since he's been there, all of a sudden is playing really, really well. I mean, Daniel Jones is I've bet against him quite a few times this year, and Daniel Jones is the sole reason I keep losing those bets. So if he keeps playing at that high of a level, Saquon Barkley keeps doing what he's doing, they have a good pass rush, and Daboll is the greatest coach of all time, boom, they should be in there. The Cowboys, honestly, if I could redo this, I'd probably put the Cowboys above the Giants, but I love what the Cowboys are doing. The Cowboys are kind of like the Vikings, where I believe they only have so far of a ceiling because of Mike McCarthy, because of Kellen Moore. Dak, he doesn't need to be MVP Dak anymore. The defense is good. They've kind of shifted to what the Saints were towards the end of the Drew Brees era, where Brees didn't need to be the MVP. Brees just needed to manage the game and not make mistakes, and the defense was good enough to win games. Dallas is like that, where Dak doesn't have to be winning these shootouts. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't have to be a 1,500-yard runner. They don't need to be an explosive offense. They just need to let their defense dominate and then let the offense be just kind of clinical and kind of just not make mistakes, and then they should win games. The Ravens are a tricky team because the Ravens have lost so many games in such weird ways. We saw the stat last week where they've been trailing for like 30 total seconds this season, and they're 5-2 now after beating now granted, the Buccaneers game, they're 5-3 and beat the Bucs on Thursday night. I'm filming this on a Friday, so I can't factor that in, right? So the Ravens coming off of a win against the Browns, a tight win there, 4-3. You could make an argument that this team could be 8-0. They could be 7-1. They could be 6-2. And if that was the case, we'd probably have them. They'd probably be 4. They'd probably be right up there behind Kansas City. So the Ravens are a team that I would be buying stock in. They are really good, especially when you let Lamar Jackson be good. Like when Lamar Jackson, the Ravens are built on him so much that when he has a big game or when he is playing really well, when he's allowed to do what he wants to do, the Ravens are hard to beat. And they're going to be a team they're certainly going to have a say in who comes out of the AFC to play in the Super Bowl. The Ravens is tough because now with Chase's injury, I would say that I think the Bengals probably would win the AFC North, but now the Ravens may have a legit shot at it if they keep it moving. Jets, I don't expect this to stick. I think the Jets lose against New England this weekend, so this might be the last weekend you see them there. Look, here's the deal. Breece Hall, it was dynamic for them. Well, he's out for the season. Zach Wilson has done absolutely nothing. He's throwing like 120 yards a game. That ain't going to cut it. I don't think the Jets are good enough without Breece Hall. I guess Michael Carter is going to be the starting running back now. The Jets don't have it. So if they beat the Patriots this week, then we'll have, we'll have a different conversation. But I expect them to be out. Tennessee, again, I was kind of hamstrung by the standings here. Like who? Okay, now we're in Major League Baseball all of a sudden. I mean, if we look at the standings, who else am I going to put at 10? Tennessee is 4-2, and they are winning the division. Granted, they're minus 13 in point differential. They've won 4 in a row, so they were 0-2 to start, and then just ripped off this winning streak. I think head to head, if Tennessee was playing the Niners, or if Tennessee was playing the Dolphins, I'd probably like them more, but this is a week-to-week list. So I kind of had to put Tennessee in there. I think if we were doing an honorable mention, we'd have Miami, would probably be my 11. Frisco would probably be my 12. It wouldn't be New England. The Chargers would probably be somewhere in there. Yeah, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, these other teams are pretty bad. So right now, your honorable mention would be Miami. So let's go ahead and look at. So this is my list, right? This is my top 10: Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Vikings, Giants, Cowboys, Ravens, Jets, and Titans. Yeah. So and this was the previous list. So this is my list. Let's go ahead and switch over to Colin here. Top 10 herd hierarchy. Let's roll. Very nice shirt, Colin, and I'm sure Jason McIntyre is sitting along watching with us.
Our top 10 teams in the NFL. It's dicey, but here we go.
Yep, there he is. Are you texting, Jason? Is he texting?
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
Baltimore Ravens. I'm not going to.
Low. This is low. Now, granted, this is before they beat the Bucs. So remember, me and his lists are both before the Thursday night game. So this is going to be a big jump upcoming. I could see them being in the top 5 next week. The Ravens are good. They're hurt, but they're good.
Bet them anymore. But there's only 2 teams in the league that have led every game by 10-plus points. The Eagles and the Ravens. Second best rushing team in the league. They lead the NFL with 14 takeaways. They do multiple things that winning teams do. They have not played well late in games.
The only thing they haven't done well this season is close out games. They've blown a lot of leads against Buffalo, against who was it the Jets? Did the Jets come? No, the Dolphins. The Dolphins came back and beat them. I mean, if you take away those losses in tournament of wins, all of a sudden you have wins against the Bills and the Dolphins. The Ravens are sneaky good. Now, as of right now, Mark Andrews is kind of banged up. Rashad Bateman's banged up. The secondary's banged up. They don't really have a strong running game besides Lamar Jackson. He kind of makes that work. But the Ravens are a sneaky good team right now. The bad part is that they play in the AFC. So they're going to have to deal with Buffalo and Kansas City to even get to really get a shot at a Super Bowl.
But only the Eagles have led every game by 10 points. I love their coach. I think their quarterback's really good.
Yeah.
They have an offensive philosophy.
No doubt.
They got to wrap things up better, but I have the Ravens at 10.
Number 9.
The Niners, okay.
Colin is ballsy for this. So Colin has had the Niners in the top. So me and Colin both love the Niners, their roster. But they're just losing. I mean, they're losing. They're hurt. And I took them out of my top 10 until they get better and until they prove it. Colin has kept them in there. And after getting blown out to the Chiefs, 44-23, I'm kind of shocked he still has them in here. Yeah, they were 5th last week, so he dropped into 9. It's pretty much loser leaves town match with them and the Rams. If they lose to the Rams, obviously you have to take them out of the top 10. But then you also have to sit back and wonder, like, man, is this team that good? Is this team that good? They're 3-5, in that situation. So I do think the McCaffrey deal is huge. I do think that's great for the Niners. They have to beat the Rams. The season is virtually on the line.
No team has fewer 3-and-outs. They played like crap Sunday. But they've got 24 sacks. Only the Cowboys.
I mean, he says they played like crap, but they're up 14-0.
Have more, and that's missing Bosa for most of the year. They have the number 3 total defense. Again, their traits are excellent. They're a mess physically, and they caught a buzzsaw in Kansas City. But Trent Williams
and Deebo Samuel is out against the Rams. So, I mean, the injuries just keep happening, but the Niners have to start winning. Like if they're 3-5, 3-6, it's not going to work to just be like, no, they have a good roster. They have to start winning games.
And Nick Bosa both returned. They're getting a couple of starters back. McCaffrey will be inserted.
He will be a difference maker.
Listen, they got humiliated in the second half by Kansas City. Yeah, it happens like 7-8 times a year. Niners, number 9.
Number 8.
The Cowboys. Listen,
all right, so I had the Cowboys at 7. They're good. I mean, they're good. I believe in the Cowboys. I think they're a legitimate playoff team. But that's about it. I don't think they are a true threat to the NFC. They could backdoor their way into like an NFC title game, but I don't think they're a true threat to really push those top teams.
4.7 yards a play. That's second best in the NFL. That has always been to me a huge stat. I don't want to hear about Dak. This is all about the defense. They're 29th in total offense with Cooper Rush and Dak. They're 30th and 30th.
I just tried to hide a yawn there. I'm sure y'all saw that. You ever like trying to hide a yawn or something like that, and it comes out of your eyeballs, basically? I thought my eyeballs were about to explode there with just the sheer yawn actions. Now I got like watery eyes. But we don't edit.
Third down offense. They're not much offensively. We don't love their coach. But you know what? In the end, you can win a lot of games in this league with a ferocious playmaking defense, and that's what the Cowboys have. Best sack differential in the league. A lot of turnovers. They get you off the field. Cowboys at number 8.
What I will say about the Cowboys and the Niners, right? So I keep talking about how the Niners have a great roster, a great defense. They just got to put it together. Right now, if you're looking at the Niners and the Cowboys, it's really just Kyle Shanahan. Because the Cowboys have weapons. They have weapons. They have CeeDee Lamb. They have Tony Pollard. Ezekiel Elliott's hurt, but he'll come back. The Niners, they have Deebo Samuel, Chris McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, for sure. Then they have Jimmy. Their defense is absolutely elite. But I would say if the Niners are 1, I would say the Cowboys defense is like, 3? Somewhere in there. So maybe I'm not giving enough credit to the Cowboys for being not the Niners. They're not as good as the Niners roster-wise, but they're winning more than the Niners are. So, I don't know. Maybe it's something I need to think about.
Number 7.
But I think the Giants would beat them head-to-head.
Okay, so I have them. Whoa, so he's about to say the Giants are going to beat the Cowboys head-to-head. So I had them at 6, I think, something like that. This is fair. The Giants are the biggest question mark is obviously Daniel Jones, like I said. So if Daniel Jones can play at an above-average level, I think the Giants can be good. They can be competitive. Is their record a little inflated? Yeah, I think it is. But, I think 7's fine for them.
Ahead. They have become the best second-half football team in the league. The Giants.
A lot of comeback wins.
Giants are a great second-half football team. They're the second best rushing team in the league. They're on a 4-game winning streak. And Brian Daboll, situationally, has done a remarkable job.
Legit coach. Like, if you watch Brian Daboll and you watch Nathaniel Hackett, or even like a Matt LaFleur or Mike McCarthy, I mean, he is leagues ahead of them.
They're not going to blow a lot of teams out. I mean, they're going to win close. That's what they are. That's what they have. Now they're missing one of their tackles. But I like what I see. I cannot wait to see them face the Seahawks this weekend in Seattle. I think that game is fascinating. Are they a couple of pretenders? Nope. I think the Giants will go on the road and win that game. I do. Giants number 7.
Number 6.
I like the Miami.
Woo! Man. Yee. This is a big jump. It was a good win. Mike McDaniel had a terrible call to go for it on 4th and 3 instead of kicking the field goal, so it really should have been 19-10. Not that that really matters, but I think the Dolphins are good. I think the Dolphins are caught in between two different camps. The first camp is the team. Remember whenever they beat Buffalo, how everyone had them in the top 3? I was probably one of them. I think I had them 4, but a lot of other power rankings had them top 3. I don't think they're there, but I also don't think they're where they are now, which is coming off a couple injury weeks, coming off a couple bad performances, a lot of players getting back, a lot of rust getting knocked off. So I think this week I couldn't have really done it. Obviously, I had them in honorable mention, but I think in the future I could see them landing and sitting at somewhere between 7 and 5 for the rest of the year.
Dolphins when Tua is healthy. Let me explain this. They're 4-0 this year when Tua is healthy. In the last 12 games with Tua, they're 10-2. 10-2. Only Buffalo and the Chiefs are better, right? That's what 10-2 means. They're number 3 in passing. You know who's ahead of them? Buffalo and Kansas City. They have a brilliant coach, great corners, a pass rush, a great left tackle, capable running backs, star receivers.
They're good, but I just don't think they're there yet. Colin's making it sound like they're a elite level team. I don't think they are. I think they are in that 4th in the AFC kind of world. They're fighting. I think they're right there with Baltimore. I would say it's Cincy, Baltimore, Miami are that next in line after Kansas City and Buffalo.
When Tua starts, despite his limitations, they win and win and win. Now, will he stay upright? Cross your fingers. But if you start 12 times in the NFL and you win 10 of them, that's who you are. That's not luck or magic. Miami at 6.
Number 5.
You know I love me the Vikings.
Okay, so we have the Vikings in the same space here. So I just don't believe in him. I really don't. I don't believe in him. I don't believe in Kevin O'Connell. I think he's an all right coach. Y'all know my problems with Kirk Cousins and his primetime game situations. And like I've said before, playoff games are in prime time.
Lower ceiling than Miami because they don't quite have some of the playmakers, but their only loss came on the road to Philadelphia. You know exactly what they are. Take away the loss in their wins. Kirk Cousins got a 98.5 quarterback rating, and that's exactly what he is. He's a pretty darn good B quarterback, sometimes B+.
That's exactly what they are. I mean, I would say, he said Kirk Cousins, but I would say the Vikings are a B team, flat B foundationally. They are a B. Sometimes they can climb up to that B+, but that's about it. They're not going to drop. You're not going to see them in that D world. You're not going to see them as a C. There's a flat line B.
Their offense, 3 touchdowns plus in 3 of their last 4 games. They don't blow people away like the Giants because they can't blow people away.
That is such a crazy stat. 3 touchdowns plus. And what do you say? 3 of the last 4 games. So they scored more than 21 points in their last 3 out of 4 games, basically. Sure. That's not. But they are consistent. I will give them that. And that's more of that B kind of grade. They are consistent in what they do. Is it spectacular? No. But, it's getting results right now.
That's not what they are. But they win a lot of football games. They appear to be very well coached with an offensive rookie head coach. I think they're the New York Giants with more speed on the perimeter. That's what I think they are.
They're better than the Giants.
Number 4.
The Bengals. You guys all sold your...
Okay, so we have the same. All right, so we have the Bengals at 4. agree with this for everything I said. The Bengals, granted, Chase hurts, but long term, if Chase is out for 6 weeks, I think that's going to be they'll be fine. But something else I would say about Chase real quick. You're going to see a lot of people like betting odds and stuff move because of Chase. He's a big time player, but don't let an injury like that move a line that you're looking at, by more than a point or two. I mean, Jamar Chase isn't impacting lines by more than like a half point at the max. He's not a 1 point, 2 point guy. So if you're like, oh my God, the Bengals season's over, no, it's not. They may not be as dynamic. They may not be as, they may not blow teams out, but I think they'll be fine for the season. It's just now it's a matter of getting Chase back.
Your stock, I bought it. You thought those Bitcoin guys were rich. I bought all your stock. Listen, their 3 losses.
The hell are we talking about, Colin?
8 points. They have, after the Bills in Kansas City, they're the best third down team in the league. And listen to this. This defense is the most underrated in the league by a mile. They have not allowed a second half touchdown all year. That's insane in this league.
That is crazy.
Maybe in the 70s, 80s that happened when it was a running league. I think they have a great defense, but they don't have a lot of stars, so nobody talks about it. I have the Bengals at 4.
Number
Very
3.
good.
Philadelphia. What do
Okay, so I've had Philly at my 1, right? And I've had Kansas City and Buffalo kind of rotating between the 2 and the 3. I believe in Philly. I believe in Philadelphia. I believe everything he said about Baltimore, like they have an identity, they have a philosophy, they have a this, they have a that. That is true. The only difference between Philly and what he's saying about Baltimore is that Philly is multifaceted. Like Philly can beat you just running the ball. Philly can beat you at Jalen Hurts. Philly can all of a sudden be this like deep ball team where Jalen Hurts is slinging it all over the place. Oh, and they also have an incredible defense. Like they're so good in so many different ways in so many parts of the game.
What do you want me to say? Top 5 scoring offense, top 5 scoring defense?
Like even if you look like Kansas City, right? Like Kansas City's not going to beat you with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're going to beat you with Patrick Mahomes. They're not going to beat you with, whoever their the other running back, a Checho or something like that. They're not going to beat you running the football. The Eagles can. And then if you say, well, you could beat me through the air, the Eagles will beat you through the air too.
Defense, they don't turn it over. They take it away, and they have 13 rushing touchdowns. I didn't think Nick Sirianni was going to be this good. I didn't think Jalen Hurts was going to be this good. But I'm not going to be stubborn. They had a great offseason. GM Howie Roseman did a remarkable job.
Howie Roseman is out of control, and they just traded for Robert Quinn. I mean, they're insane.
They finally got receivers right. Last couple of years, they just couldn't get wide receiver right. They had a couple of whiffs in the draft. They got the wide receiver position right. I worry about they're a little old sometimes on the O-line, but O-line, D-line, maybe the best combo in the league. I have Philadelphia, very well deserved at number 3.
Number 2.
I have Kansas City, too.
Yeah, man, I think it's just dealer's choice between Buffalo and KC. I think it's fine to have Buffalo ahead of KC because they beat KC, and they look, right now, I think they generally look a little better than KC. These 3 teams are so far ahead of the rest of the NFL. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. Like, if you had KC at 3, Philly at 1, Buffalo at 2, if you had Philly at 3, Buffalo at 2, KC at 1. If you had Buffalo at 3, KC at 1, Philly at 2, I think that's all fine. They're very close to each other, but far away from the rest of the NFL.
And here's why. Opposing quarterbacks against the Chiefs this year have 104 passer rating. Jimmy Garoppolo had opportunities, lots of them. That's why Josh Allen and Joe Burrow against the Chiefs concerns me. I worry about their pass defense. I think the people inside the Chiefs have come to this. Hey, we're not going to let people keep the ball away from Mahomes. So they have really in the offseason decided we're not going to let you run on us. But they had to give up something for that. One of them was a corner to San Francisco, and now you can throw on them. And I don't think that's good news with Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, that is a difference, right? That's a difference between these other teams that I'm talking about here. Like the other teams like Philadelphia and Buffalo and Cincy, those are strong defenses. Kansas City's is not a strong defense. Kansas City's is, we know we can give up. They know they can give up 20 to 24 points and win. Like, they don't want to give up 35 a game. But if you told them you're going to give up 20 points a game, I think they'd be like, okay, that's fine. We'll outscore you. If you told San Francisco, hey, you have to score 24, 28, 31 points to win, they wouldn't take that deal. I think Kansas City would take that deal.
And Josh Allen in the AFC, they're a great team. Brilliant people all over it. But they are susceptible with that secondary and the hit-and-miss pass rush to lose some close games.
Number 1.
I think the Bills are the most talented team in the league.
Probably.
Only team averaging 300-plus passing yards a game.
They're real
the
good.
Most physically gifted quarterback in the league, averaging 6.6 yards a play. A play. They're 65% to a first down by the time they get to second down.
They're really good, and they're a team where if you watch them play, if you watch one of their games, every single play that they don't get 10-plus yards seems like a win. If you stop them for 6 yards, you're like, man, what a job by the defense. You don't see the Bills get stopped at the line of scrimmage. You don't see the Bills, go 3 and out. So they are a special team for sure. They're going to have to get over that hurdle and get to the next level, because we know like they've reached their apex where they are now. Can they push through, get to a Super Bowl? Can they push through, win a Super Bowl? Time will tell.
Third down offense, fantastic playmaker. They can play with a lead. They can play from behind. And they do appear to have solved their hole, which was I didn't trust them in close games.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen them in a couple of close games with Kansas City, with Baltimore.
Yeah, that's Josh Allen getting a little more mature. That's Josh Allen getting a little better.
And they've won those games. I think it's Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
So that was the thing I worried about. I thought Kansas City was better in close games. You don't have to be great, but it can't be bad. Well, it looks like they've solved that issue. Buffalo, number 1 in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, again, lists are pretty similar. The biggest difference is Frisco, him leaving Frisco in there, and Miami. Those are the big differences, but relatively they're pretty much the same. He doesn't believe in the Jets, which is fine by me. I think the Jets, like I said, will lose to the Patriots. So yeah, I mean, pretty solid list from Colin there. The NFL is really wacky right now. Scoring is down. There's a lot of mediocre teams. There's not a lot of bad teams. Even the bad teams, the Carolinas, the Pittsburghs, the Chicago, they're surprising people. I mean, this week alone, Chicago has won. Pittsburgh played the Dolphins close. The Panthers just beat the Bucks. So even the bad teams are competitive, but there is a ton of mediocre. The Indianapolises, the Tennessees, the Saints, the Falcons, the Seahawks, the Rams, all those teams, some of them are good stories, but most of them are just bang mediocre teams. And then there's a couple really good teams. There's probably like 4 really good teams, and then there's like 3 elite level teams. And that's where we are in the NFL right now. But thank you for watching this video. Sorry for getting out so late. Sometimes in life you get, and sometimes in life you get got. This week, I got.